Hey guys, welcome to another fun and exciting Iron Mike GT7 stream. This is the manufacturers at Nurburgring Grand Prix track in the Group 3 cars. Again, I'm with Ford, so I'm using the Ford GT LM Spec 2 car, race car Spec 2. It's a long-winded name. Again, didn't qualify. This is an interesting track. It's a bit cold and foggy at the beginning. Hard and medium tyres required. I think it's ×2 on fuel and ×3 on tyre wear. Hard and medium required, and I'm starting on hards. And my strategy, plus I've got traction control to automatic stability management on, and counter steering on weak, I think. And my strategy is to go to about lap 6 on hards, and then 9 laps remaining on medium. The mediums are pretty good and can go quite far, but I don't want to be near the end of the race on almost dead tyres, so the plan was to go to lap 6. A few Australians in here that I know: Heartstopper, TCR Jewelry, who we just saw, and some other names that don't really come to mind at the moment. So hoping to cut through the pack in this. I was expecting it to be a little bit wild and people going off. But at the moment, no, it's pretty well controlled. So did get up to 13th and then drop back to 15th, back into last place again. But hoping to just cut through the pack somewhat. As you can see, TCR Jewelry has a 2-second penalty for that collision. Hopefully cut through the pack and then pit on lap 6 and undercut some people as well. The weather should clear up throughout the race. Had to do the whole 15 laps in time trial practice to make sure it didn't begin to rain, because intermediates and wets are available. If there was rain due, then I would be getting rid of the hards pretty quick and hopping onto the mediums pretty quick. Yeah, at this point I just felt like I was falling back. The two guys in front of me, the Japanese guy, I'll call him ASN, so Jury's just paid his 2-second penalty, getting past him. Just felt like those two were just falling back a bit and I was falling behind them, but seems like I'm back with the pack. Notice that I just cut that corner a bit. In practice I do that and no penalties, so I don't do it intentionally, but when it happens I just let it happen, because not too much of a penalty as long as you don't cut it too much. Now here I was still a bit nervous. You'll see I'll hit ASN now. I just thought, you know, when you're nervous you tend to brake a bit too early, and I thought just ignore everyone and brake as you normally would, and probably normally I'd go in there pretty fast. So I'm slowing down there a bit, waiting for him. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? Jury's catching. I can't see him. I'm off again. Yeah, didn't like doing that, and definitely not intended. Just a real clumsy hit. There's another light tap I do on someone a bit further down the track. And then a third event is someone else making a very silly, costly mistake, which I'll talk about a bit later. Having to nurse the tyres a bit throughout the race. Just trying to protect the tyres. But when you become 100% focused on that, you find yourself actually dropping away a bit, so you tend to then pick up the pace to try and keep up, and then the nursing of the tyres kind of goes out the window. So it's a real fine balance. So there's about 5 Australians in this, and can't see the others. There must be 4th place, you know, and a bit lower, tucked up near the top. It's a bit surprised to see that guy pit early. So what's that, 2 laps and he's coming off his hards. So he may appear to be a bit of a threat early on, but I thought he's pitting so early, his tyres will be a little bit worn down near the end. Now this Ford I'm in, and there was another Ford I used at Autopolis, so they were pretty good on their tyres. So I just was trying to keep calm and telling myself that other people, their tyres will wear out much more than mine. And if I'm not catching up to them right now, a little bit later I should be. I was telling myself this. I should be catching up as they begin to really struggle. I feel like I'm catching these guys. Alright, so here's the conflict. I'm sure we're thinking a lot. We're not just driving and racing and looking at the guy in front. There's a lot of thought going on, and here's the conflict I had. I'm usually pretty rock solid on a strategy, with a tiny percentage of leeway in case, you know, conditions change or situations change. And my strategy was to go to lap 6 in consideration of my mediums. But now I'm up behind this pack, and it looks like there's quite a few cars, and I just got the feeling that they're holding each other up. My other plan was, if I'm being held up at any point, then pit. Don't stick behind a pack and waste time. And it might be around now I started to think it, because I really felt like I was getting close now. You know, at this point, yeah, I was just going to say, exit left. I was about to say at this point I'd be expecting, because the pack is so tight, that some people start to collide and maybe have accidents and go off track. But again, I mean, we've just lost 1 car, but there's still quite a number of cars there. There's what, 1, 2, 3, probably 5 cars in that pack. And so that, yeah, there's the conflict. A part of me was thinking maybe I should pit, and another part was saying it's too early. What do you do? What do you do? Like right now, and I thought, well, you know, that I'm not catching up real hard, but they're not really holding me up. But I felt like I'm really starting to catch them now. The other benefit of staying with them is I've got their slipstream. But if they start to battle, it starts slowing everyone down. Look how many there are. And this is the other thing I thought, if they all stay out, I'm pitting, and there, bang. Or if a lot of them began to pit, then I would stay out. I was quite surprised not one of them pitted. So lap 4, not lap 6. And this is the other thing, guys, plenty of time. You saw me just casually picking medium, and then eventually picking no fuel. I think a lot of people make mistakes, and like the old GT Sport where pit stops were pretty quick and you had to make your selection quick. Now there's heaps of time, so just in the future think about that. Just take your time. I'm so glad I didn't cross any lines to get a 3-second penalty for here. So back in the 15th now. Back to last place. Not looking too promising, is it? But things will change. Like I said, I've got traction control 2 on, and during the week, during practice, I did think to myself, when I go down to the mediums and the track really dries up and warms up, I should be able to take the traction control off until near the end when the tyres are really worn. And I found during the race, I just totally forgot about it and just left it on. I also found the hards and the medium, the lap times were pretty close, so that was the other thing, you know. Was pitting extremely early any real benefit? There's probably a 1 second a lap difference. So still on my own pretty much at the back, so that's about 6.8, 6.7 second gap. So yeah, just all out on my own at the moment. And I must admit that's quite a lead that the lead driver has. So about 46 second gap between me and first place, when a pit stop is only about 23 seconds. So I know I started at the back, but that's quite a gap. So it looks like about lap 6, the weather, even though the clouds still look heavy, the track looks like it's really starting to dry up and warm up. Which should offer a bit more grip. So we've got some people pitting now off their hards. Let's see if I can jump them. So it looks like I have, and I've got this guy Incinerated 2 behind me on fresh mediums. And I did think to myself, you know, where you just put on your mediums, your first lap is still a little bit squirrely, but if he holds his ground and really catches up, I'll just let him go. And he's about 1 second behind me, and I thought if he catches up, I'll let him pass, but at a certain point I just find myself slowly pulling away from him. It's 1.2, 1.3, and at this point I thought, oh, okay. guy in front of me is that ASN, the guy who I actually hit, and I thought, oh, hopefully he's doing okay. And I just missed it. The guy who was in P10 is the guy who pitted with me. Here's more people pitting now. So luckily for me, that ASN guy is pitting. So from 12th down to 10th. And even at this point, guys, I was thinking, oh, I'm in 10th at the moment. Maybe I could make up a place or two from here on in. I must admit, this track is quite demanding. So here's TC Jory. I think he's had a bit of an issue with the guy who's in front now in P8, which really slowed him down, and it's actually been quite nice to me, just let me pass. Yeah, TCR Jory's been quite clean with that, but I think his race has been turned a bit upside down by other drivers. So down to P9 now, and I'm pulling away from Jory. This is a guy, maybe he paid a penalty, I don't know. Just seemed to catch up with him pretty hard. I find myself caught behind this guy for a lap or two, looking for a way to get past him. I'm sure we all do that. We're reading the other people, having a look at the health of their car. Do they go out wide? Where are their weak spots? Could be that their tyres are worn or just their driving style. Here I'd expect him to be pushing it quite wide, so maybe next lap if I go out wide on the inside and just cut through. Actually, I think this is the guy who, that's right, he pitted on lap 2. That's right, so, and for some reason I thought that he had softs on, that he either pitted with softs or had put softs on. So for some reason I had it in my mind that this guy was still due to pit, and I found myself stuck behind him, and I was thinking, oh, please pit, please pit. So the leader is pitting now off his mediums. He'll be moving on to hards. So he's showing quite good pace, you know, so I'm not really seeing any obvious weak points in his racing, and he's holding a good line as well. So here I'm sort of looking for, does he go a bit deep or whatever, or just to throw him off a bit. I just can't seem to do it at the moment. And it was probably around here where I thought, wow, totally forgetting about nursing my tyres, you know, I'm just focusing on him. Maybe the only other thing I'm mindful of is the split behind, you know, the time. You know, is Incinerator 2 catching up? Is this guy slowing me down? You're going a bit deep there and say, okay, right, yeah. Maybe next lap I can pull on the inside as you go deep. Just looking for any weak spot. Also keeping in mind, I'm in this slipstream, so I've got to just put a bit of extra effort in my my braking. Is the second leader is pitting, so that that gap between me and first place is coming down. So it was 43, then they were saying 34, I think. Now it's 29 as people are pitting. Yeah, I must admit, I'm starting to get more comfortable being close to people. When I first ever started with GT Sport, I wasn't really used to slipstream and being close to people. I just end up rear-ending them, you know. So I'm getting better at it now, where I can be real close and apply pressure. But since these people, I don't really race with them at all normally. They have no idea who I am. I don't want people to be driving in fear. It can really throw people off. I want to put them under pressure, but it's nothing worse than having someone right up your clacker and you don't know if they're going to brake in time. I think it was around here, guys, that I just felt like my rhythm was a bit thrown off being so close and just focusing on this guy. And he's just pulled away a bit, and I thought I've really got to get back to just my rhythm. So, down to 7th place now. You know, and this is to the end, so really there's no other pitting going on. There's a healthy gap between me and Incinerator 2, so things are looking okay for now. Just saw a flash of someone else pitting. There it is. Moving up into 6th place, and while keeping pressure on this guy in front. Here we go, so bang. I get the feeling he's come in a bit hard there. So remember lap 2, I've hit ACN, the Japanese guy. And this is the second one. Now, I do hit this guy. It's not out of malice, because he's just smacked me there. I think it's just that the tyres are starting to wear down, and we're back to being so close, and I'm pushing to try and get past. So sort of swing out a bit. Not expecting too much of that. Just tiniest tap. That puts him just a bit out in the sand and really throws him there. And I must admit, I'm thinking, oh no, I better run now. He's not going to like that move. As you know, the fastest way around a track is to maintain your rhythm and to be smooth, you know, not to recklessly pick up the pace, or else you end up going slower in corners. I'm just trying to move it real quick, and here was another point where I thought I'm going to be braking heavy, it's going to be coming in fast, but no. And again, a slight cut of that corner and I get away with it. So I'm up to 5th place now. And now we got Deo from Japan. Final 3 laps now, lap 13. And there's quite a gap, there's a good 5-second gap, 4.9, 4.8. So still got 3 laps, and I'm thinking my tyres are still pretty good. So what can I make of this? And this is, there were 3 incidences I mentioned. One was hitting the ASN. The second one was the guy who I just tapped. And on the last lap is the 3rd incident, I guess. And I'm sure we've all been in this situation, guys, where you're running a race, you're doing really well, you've started 8th and you've moved up to 3rd, and right near the end of the race you're pushing so hard when there's quite a big gap in front of you. You know you're not going to catch the guy in 2nd place. There's a bit of a gap behind you in 5th, so 4th place is pretty much yours. But you continue to push hard to the point where you actually make a mistake and horribly go off track and take forever to get back on track. And it's happened to me. I can't recall an exact moment, but I know it's happened to me where at the end of the race I'm sort of thinking, why? And you look at the replay and you realise there was no need for that. You know, your position was guaranteed. And this guy is in that situation. And if he spoke English, I'd want to write to him and say, hey, you know, there was no pressure. Why did you make that mistake? Silly. So I hope he's giving himself a good kick, because no one else will. I hope he's giving himself a good kick and just looking at that replay and learning from it. You know, there's attacking and there's defending, but there's also holding a position and learning how much do I push, and when should I sort of just back off a bit and look after to see the end of the race. So you see there's a bit of a gap behind me. It looks closer than what it is, 3.6 seconds, and that's pretty much holding. I think initially for a while it was at 3.8. Well, that's Incinerator 2 who pulled out of the pits right behind me, but that time has been holding for quite a while. So I've got about a lap and a half to go. I am catching this Deo from Japan in P4. So even that, I'm hoping will put him under pressure. He'll be thinking, oh no, this person is catching, but it's just now gone back up to 5. So in theory, he should be just taking it easy. Just maintain your pace and just back off a touch, mainly on corners. Just brake a touch early. You can see him just ahead. It's quite a gap. P1 is just miles ahead, but P2 and 3 and 4 are pretty close to each other now. I didn't realise how close it was to P2. So coming up to the final lap now, and again that split time behind me, 3.5. I really didn't have any concern. Just don't screw it up. That's what Deo from Japan should have been thinking about. You know, he's probably a touch too far from P3. P4 is 5 seconds, or 4.7 now. Just don't screw it up. It's right near the, probably 3/4 of the way around the track. That little subtle dog leg left-right is where he loses his line and just goes off track a bit. And my tyres are looking pretty sore now. I think it was around here I began to relax a bit and just go with the flow. So if my tyres are squealing, that's fine, as long as I could feel my line and feel where the car was going. So it's up around here. He loses control a bit here. He's offline. He's now going off the track a bit. He's now trying to overcorrect. And he's spanner. And there he is. And I thought, hopefully that's not a back marker. That was 5th or 4th. I'm now 4th place. I felt sorry for him, of course. But I was also feeling pretty good. So right near the final corners now, and I'm thinking P1 has just crossed the line now. It was about 28 seconds ahead. So I feel like even though he had to pit, I feel like I had caught up quite a bit. And amazed that even now, P2 and P3 haven't crossed the line yet. And what I was looking at is to see whether or not any of those names move. Has anyone not put hards on and just gone soft medium or medium medium? But no. And that was tiring, very tiring. Could have gone again. It's a long day, and I chose not to. Starting last, up 11 places, P4. I was happy with that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and see you in the next one. Bye for now.